the Pod Network Entertainment.
Who's ready for story time?
What's going on? This is Xavier Woods, aka Austin Creed.
Let me talk to you.
Hello, WWE Universe from the Philippines. This is Charlotte.
Hey everyone, this is Jeff Cobb.
I have to finish the story.
We are pretty deadly. Yes, boy. Yes, boy.
Run!
Bang! The sniper is shooting you down. This is TMDK's Robbie Eagles.
Hey, this is the Cosmic Cactus, Paul London.
Hello, my name is Ilya Dragunov, the Czar, the NXT champion, and you're listening to...
And you're listening to...
And you're listening...
And you are listening...
And you're listening
to the Wrestling Podcast.
The Wrestling Podcast.
The Wrestling Podcast.
The Wrestling Podcast.
To the Wrestling Podcast. Yeah.
You're listening to the longest-running weekly episodic Filipino wrestling podcast. This is the Wrestling Podcast. Stan C, Romoran, and Emil Nate checking in on our Picks of the Week special. And this is the episode you tune into if you want to know the best parts of last week in wrestling. Kung wala kang bandwidth, manood ng mga weekly shows like we do because we are sadistic that way. We're gonna distill things for you here in this episode. All right, couple of things before we get to our picks. First, the usual Royal Rumble viewing party. Tickets are selling really fast, guys. So if you want to reserve your tickets, do it now at tinyurl.com/rumble2024. Early bird rates are at 350 pesos. It's at Skinny Mike's BGC. Doors open at 8 a.m. on Sunday, January 28. Again, we have less than 10 tickets left for the early bird seats. So please get your tickets now. Pero pwede pa rin naman mag-walk-in on the day itself. It'll be 450 pesos. Both tickets get you a free iced tea. All right? We also have our Patreon community. Normally, we spend about a minute talking about that stuff, but all we need you to know is that it's one of the best ways you can support the pod. And you can subscribe for as low as $5 a month or about 250, 260 pesos a month over on patreon.com/wrestling podcast. Let's get some picks of the week, starting with Chino, who submits this clip from TikTok. Featuring an 80s wrestling category and Jeopardy. So, a few weeks ago, Chino told us na love niya talaga yung Jeopardy. So, having Becky Lynch in Celebrity Jeopardy was something he really wanted to highlight. And sabi niya, this category on 80s wrestling is even better than Becky Lynch's showing in Celebrity Jeopardy because it is a great example of his two loves being put together. And he's hoping that it opens more doors for more wrestling trivia on the #1 quiz show in the world. Well, I got news for you, Chino. Ro and I are about to take on the world of wrestling trivia on Wrestling Quiz Night by the time you hear this.
Tomorrow night at Heckle and Jekyll Bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like Leo Rush, we're coming to collect.
No, there's not much to say about this. It's fun because Ken Jennings, the host, is pretty game about this. He even impersonates Macho Man, something that the late Alex Trebek probably wouldn't do.
Yeah.
So okay, yun. It's funny because I don't think we've seen a category like this until we did legit Wrestling Jeopardy in our own quiz night. So it's fun. It's one of those things that. Yeah, it's pop culture, so pop culture gets added to Jeopardy, and it's a fun watch for all wrestling and Jeopardy fans. So Chino's a big Jeopardy fan, so this also isn't surprising as a pick from him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, shout out by the way to that one guy who aced this category. I think his name is Andy, so he aced that category. I think he answered 3 out of the 5 there, so shout out to him.
Man of culture, true man of culture.
Yeah.
All right, next up, Rowan picked this YouTube video from WWE's YouTube channel. It's the Alpha Academy Royal Rumble sparring session. So, sabi ni Rowan, it was an entertaining way to make wrestling educational, especially given the upcoming Royal Rumble. So, si Master Gable, binibigyan niya ng tutorial sina Akira Tozawa and Maxine Dupree because neither of them have competed in a Royal Rumble match. So sila ni Otis yung nagde-demonstrate yung mga strategies like staying low to the ground, how to hang on to your opponent's legs so that you stay low to the ground even though you're not as girthy as Otis. skinning the cat, all of that stuff. So, for Rowan, he loved learning about the Rumble strategies this way. Kasi may commentary from an actual wrestler, and they'll give you examples like, staying away from the ropes, diba? Which tayo as wrestling fans, pinagtatawa na natin na, ba't ang lapit mo sa ropes? Diba? You can't win the Rumble if you're near the ropes and you get thrown over the top rope. So all of these ways to survive the Rumble, they went through it, which ako personally na-enjoy ko rin siya. It's a nice watch. It's just 8 minutes of your time. And after seeing this skit and seeing their performances on Raw, sabi ni Rowan, it's time to put them back in the title picture, which it's really easier said than done, given that the tag team championships are still unified.
No, I agree with all of that stuff. I won't keep this long. Ang gusto ko lang is that, what I wish is that they also show this on Raw. Yung skit. Not necessarily the whole 8 minutes in one go, but you can break it up, diba? And show it in each hour, diba? Kasi more people need to see this, especially newer fans, diba? Being on YouTube makes it easy for sharing to non-hardcore WWE fans or wrestling fans. So it's a good thing. The power of social media, the power of the internet. So more content like this, especially when you only have so many minutes to fill in a TV broadcast.
This reminds me of an old clip I saw back in the day of Mr. McMahon training for the Royal Rumble, where naghahabol siya ng mga chickens. So it has the same vibe. It's kind of comedic, but I know it makes sense because again, they're training for the Royal Rumble, and I actually learned a lot of things from that video, like how to skin the cat.
Ano natutunan mo? Ano pinaka-importanting natutunan mo?
Quiz na to, Emil.
Oh.
I know. Again, there are different strategies in the Royal Rumble match. You never realize how many strategiges there is for you.
What was the most
eliminated.
What was the thing that you didn't know before the legit?
Yung naka-ground line, you're just grounded. That's it.
Yung kumakapit ka doon sa legs ng kalaban mo.
Like, the entire match, ganun ka lang, hindi ka matatanggal. And so, yun yung yung bagong knowledge ko after that. So, again, it's a fun video, and this is something NXT really does well, and I wish the main roster would also do more of these.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let's move on to Rose pick, which came from last week's episode of Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, gotta shout out the boy from India, from Punjab, Seth Rollins versus Jinder Mahal for the World Heavyweight Championship on the main event of last week's Raw. It's not all good because yun nga na-injure si Seth. Nobody likes an actual injury unless you're Bret Hart. But this was a really good comeback match for Jinder. Like, this is the first match that he's had in a while, and he did well. He didn't put on a 5-star classic if you were Dave Meltzer or anything, if you were a cage match user. We still forgot to talk about that. Jesus Christ. But it was a pretty good showing, because sometimes all you need is to be there. All you need to do is to perform the role that you were given, know your role. Don't shut your mouth because you're a heel, and it was good. Obviously, Jinder has mga physical limitations. I think at this point, even he would acknowledge that he's not the best wrestler out there. But the thing that a lot of people don't really get to know, really get to realize about him is that he's super old school. So the reason why he doesn't do much out there is because he was trained to do the less is more thing. So the less you do, the less impressive stuff you do, the more hated you are as a heel. And I think he really gets that. And a lot of people just want him to do more, because that's the kind of wrestling they're used to now in the 2010s, 2020s. Diba? So yun talaga, it's one of those things that you sometimes just can't teach to a more veteran wrestler. But not everyone's going to be a John Cena or an Adam Copeland who, oftentimes want to do some new tricks just to prove that, just for shits and giggles. For his credit, to his credit, see, Seth really designed a good match that was, meant to maximize yung drama, meant to make Jinder look as believable as he could. he is a former world champion after all, but not a lot of people want to buy into that. So Seth and whoever the agent was gave him opportunities like, a clean ass kalas that people legit thought was going to win him the match.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tapos yung interference from Indashir. Again, it's one of those things. Oh, we see the bloodline do that. So, yeah, baka ito na yun. So, tapos the match was so close and the near fall was so believable that Jinder almost winning with a clean finisher got people to get up off their feet and almost think that Seth was losing it. And then Seth kicks out and then he does the stomp and it's all over because he is still the fighting champion after all. Really good stuff. People might not know this, but I feel like all wrestling schools should show this to the students, to the newbies, to mga greenhorns, kasi it's a really good master class in making the most out of so little, especially with an opponent that isn't as, doesn't have as many strengths in the ring. Ang galing talaga. The fact that they got a whole ass reaction. It's not just one of those things. They were no selling Jinder because he's Jinder. Seth got it's a solid match out of that guy, which has happened before, but you just don't expect now after so many years from that particular WWE Championship reign.
One moment I love from this match is when Jinder hit the Kalas and the commentary referenced the when he that's the same move that he used when he won the WWE Championship from 2017. So I thought that was a cool callback. And this match is textbook. Like sometimes in wrestling, you just need to keep it simple.
Mm-hmm.
These two kept it simple, and it worked. Like the crowd were rooting for Seth by the end of that match, and people reacted to Jinder. So it's the reaction I think both wrestlers wanted, and kudos to them for working that match really well. So,
yeah, Emil, you mentioned your commentary really putting over the Kalas and putting over Jinder's championship run in the process. And I think that was the only way you could really go about it. That would not make you seem like a joke. Kasi yung criticism ni Tony Khan, diba, was that, sino ba si Jinder Mahal? Bakit siya bigla naging number one contender? And in packaging Jinder that way, not just in that match, but throughout the episode, the way they built him up over the last 7 days leading into that match, showed na they treated the Jinder Mahal character and parang in hindsight yung kanyang championship run with the respect that it deserved. Granted, he wasn't like highlighted as like a marquee name, diba, in 6-7 years since he was WWE champion, but at least for a few days we were reminded that this dude was the face of the company for a good 6 months and that it's not nothing. So that's a great way to elevate this guy, to reestablish why it's important for him to be in this spot, why it's important for this championship to be fought over, even when this guy is involved. And it's a great way to do your best to silence yung criticism that was amplified by Tony Khan's Twitter meltdown the previous week.
Yeah, that was like the best way to be petty. Kasi Triple H showed them, this is how you promote a match. This is how you promote a last-minute championship match, diba? Which you never saw Tony Khan do for Hook. Diba? And that didn't happen in Dynamite. So they put all their effort into building up the match. and that's what made it legit. And you'll never see Tony Khan do that right now unless somebody else takes over for him in creative.
Yeah, so promoting is literally half the battle. And, this is something we want to remind you mga younger listeners natin or those who aren't as exposed to the inner workings of the business. Like, the name of the game really is promoting, aside from, making money.
Yes.
Diba? All right, Emil, let's cross over to AEW for your pick.
Ito naman, my pick again is the main event of Dynamite. It was Samoa Joe versus Hook for the AEW World Championship. This is Samoa Joe's first defense of the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. And there was so much hype coming in, and it wasn't because of Samoa Joe or Hook. It was this match was boosted because of the Twitter rant that TK had a week before this match, and it somehow boosted it. Also, the yung pick ni Ro na boost din yun. So people were waiting to see how this match goes, especially after the great outing that Seth and Jinder had. And I'm gonna say that it lived up to all the hype. And like I mentioned already in the live stream, I saw this as a modern day take on the iconic Jeff Hardy versus Undertaker ladder match from 2002, where in that match Hardy was made. He became a star, and I see it in the same way. Now Hook looked like a star by the end of this match, and Joe was also reestablished as a monster champion in AEW. So that has been something AEW has been sorely lacking since its inception, a monster world champion. So both guys look really good after this match, and I'm looking forward to Joe's reign kasi sobrang daming potential matchups there that will cook. And with Hook, it's only gonna go up from here for Hook, and I wish TK would capitalize on that by having longer matches for Hook, not just the 1 minute, 2 minute matches, because I think the guy can at this point I think the guy can go for longer than 5 minutes. I think this is my pick of the week.
Yeah, I think in 2021, I named Hook either Rookie of the Year or Breakout Wrestler for 2022, and this match reminded me of why I did that, of why I chose him for that award, because he showed everything that I saw in his first few matches. Na yung confidence, yung killer instinct niya, yung legit shoot ability niya. He's got it, and a lot of people are gonna wonder who the fuck Hook is. What did he do, or how legit Hook is to be in this spot? But he is legit. He knows what he's doing in there. He's a real fighter, like his daddy. So I like this a lot. Samoa Joe acknowledged then, recognized then how good Hook is and what he could do, and he made sure to get let the boy get his shine in, and I really enjoy that. Again, we're gonna talk about this once more, but I wish it was promoted better and not by way of a Twitter meltdown of social media controversies. Some people really think that's the way to promote a match, but it's also doing the character a disservice because he already doesn't speak, so you have to find a way to legitimately build him up as the wrestling character in your particular universe. So the wrestling is half the battle, and it's really, really good. That's why I'm still a fan of AEW. But it could have been so much better. It's better. It's good for those who were interested enough to tune in to the match, to the main event. But if you weren't, hindi talo rin kayo.
Yeah. I enjoyed it, actually. I didn't have a lot of expectations heading into this match kasi nga, wala masyadong hype other than the Twitter meltdown, diba? But when I watched the match and I sat down and just gave it my attention for like the next 9-10 minutes, it was great. I really loved how Hook kicked out of the muscle buster at 1, how Hook really made Samoa Joe legit afraid that he was gonna lose for like a split second. So there was that. For those of us, especially medyo jaded na parang okay, wala ka ng rose-colored glasses towards what you watch in wrestling. Medyo nabalik siya for me for like a good 3 to 5 seconds because of the way that these guys went at one another. And I love the pace. I love the speed at which they went at one another as well. So, it really shows yung depth ng pagkakaintindi ni Joe, diba? About the audience, about how to put this match together, how to work with someone like Hook who is so much smaller compared to his big girthy frame, diba? So, yun. Really appreciated this pick. So thanks, Emil, for including this in our list. All right, I'm going to wrap things up with my pick of the week, which is Pretty Deadly versus the return of British Strong Style on SmackDown. So on yesterday's Weekend Reactions episode, you already talked about Pete Dunne being back. So I'm going to keep this quick. I just love that the Bruiserweight is back. They actually acknowledged him as the Bruiserweight. Binalik nila yung weight niya na 205 pounds. Binalik nila yung from Birmingham, England, the entire presentation. Kulang na lang yung wolf na na parang overcoat niya when he makes his entrance. Yun lang yung kulang But everything else, you can't complain. X-Plex, back. Bitter End, back. All the other Pete Dunne things that he used to do in NXT UK and later NXT, it's all there. Even yung yung angas niya, na medyo na distill when he had to be a brawling brute. It's all there, and I cannot complain at all. So give me more of this, and I'm going to join the chorus of people calling for the Raw and SmackDown Tag Team Championships to be separated once again, because I'd love to see British Strong Style to have a Tag Team Championship pursuit at least.
What I love about this is Pretty Deadly after the match na, nagrereklamo sila, oh, we prepared for Butch.
That was good.
Who is this Pete Dunne? we were preparing we had the notes for Butch. I love that. And that's, again, kudos to the Pretty Deadly for that. Sobrang natawa ako dun.
Yeah, I like that they did that because I was talking about it on Discord after I saw it. I was wondering how many people who are not NXT and NXT UK watchers are gonna wonder, sino tong Pete Dunne na to? Who the fuck is this guy? Like, who the fuck is Pete Dunne? We know Butch. Pretty Deadly knows Butch, and I like that they nodded to the rebranding the Vince. Emil and I talked about the whole Pete Dunne thing on yesterday's episode, but it's one of those things that because Vince meddled with the formula, may kaguluhan na mangyayari. And I hope that they address it properly as well. I hope that there is some acknowledgement na, why did I change into this? Or, I kind of want them to vent the frustration and, talk about how it was different being Butch, diba? I want them, like, I don't know, kasi may bias in ako against, the Vince-isms in creative, but I want them to talk about why this was changed unnecessarily, especially for the people who got hip to Butch and not Pete Dunne.
Ito, si Piper Niven is the other example I can think of. When she rebranded back to being Piper Niven, she went through like a week or two on screen, diba? Na parang in-acknowledge na Doudrop is gone or whatever. Yeah. And then, the longer that she kept appearing as Piper Niven, I guess everyone else just got conditioned na rin na, oh, she's Piper Niven, diba? Yeah. I think the same thing is likely to happen to Pete Dunne if we don't get what you manifested just a few moments ago.
Yeah, no, I know naman people will just accept it for what it is. But I think we've had too much of, things not being explained. Can we just, start explaining things first? Because it's going to lead to people wondering. Diba?
But nangyari din kay LA Knight. It was Max Dupree.
Yeah.
LA Knight is the next week, but I think they told that story.
Yeah, they told that story. They legit told that story of
at
Max
the expense
Dupree.
of Masay and Mansois getting dunked on.
Tsaka he acknowledged na hindi siya yun diba? Hindi siya talaga si Max Dupree, diba? So at least may yun. Pero this one, it's a little kasi they teased it and then all of a sudden, without too much fanfare, he's Pete Dunne again. Diba? Wala siyang big dramatic showing of I'm gonna ditch the old gimmick and go back to my older gimmick.
Baka sabi nila it'll be too similar to Corbin, diba? Like he threw away all of his clothes and paraphernalia from all his other gimmicks. Like if we saw Pete Dunne throwing yung sando and the suspenders and the newsboy hat.
Okay lang. Okay lang. I mean, this happens so much that people just want to know. Parang they want a clear delineation of when the old character becomes a new character.
where this one ends and this one begins.
Yes, exactly. Yes,
yeah.
Precisely.
Shout out to those who get that Lonely Island reference.
Kasi nga, diba? Otherwise, it's gonna be like it's gonna be like Pretty Deadly asking, "Who is this?" We didn't prepare for this.
Yeah, as stupid as it sounds. All right, that's going to do it for our picks of the week. Really fun list of things that we were able to curate for this episode. If you want to add yours to the conversation or just chime in to whatever it is that we talked about, you know where to find us. It is at Wrestling2XPod on TikTok and on Twitter. And individually, it is at Roiswar, at EML_Meister, at Chino Supersized, at Monday Night Rowen, and at _Stan C. We will catch you on Thursday. That's tomorrow. 7 p.m. for our live stream on the Facebook page and on the YouTube channel. You know where to find us. We will see you there. And we got to say thank you as well to Babyface producer Jasper and the rest of the Pod Network for all of the good work that they do behind the scenes. On behalf of Romoran and Emil Nate, my name is Stan C, ending this episode of the Wrestling Podcast. Stay safe, stay healthy, and don't be a dick. Later, weirdos.
Peace.
The opinions of podcast creators, hosts, and guests are not necessarily reflective of the official stance of the Pod Network Entertainment, its hosts, or other network programs. The content created by the people behind the podcast is personal and not meant to harm any religion, ethnicity, group, organization, company, or individual.